Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ruby Gaming X. So today we're going to be talking about Godzilla King of the Monsters, and specifically about the interviews and what the director said. So the director said that there's going to be more than four monsters in this movie, and a lot of people are going crazy. They're going nuts. They're saying, "Oh my God, confirmed guy again, Mecha Godzilla, Space Godzilla, Biolante." But we have to be real right here, guys. I mean, let's just not get our hopes up too much because we could be disappointed. And I honestly don't think we're going to be seeing Toho monsters returning, because if that was the case, then Toho or Legendary or Warner Brothers would have announced in their Facebook or Twitter, "Hey man, we got the rights for other Toho monsters." But they wouldn't say which Toho monsters, because obviously it's a surprise. They don't want to ruin anything, and they actually did this for King Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra. When they bought the rights, they actually announced that, yeah, Warner Brothers and Legendary have the rights for Mothra and Rodan, King Ghidorah, and from there, Godzilla King of the Monsters was reborn. So I really don't see them getting other monsters from Toho. What I honestly see, and I'm being realistic and true right here, what I think is that most likely we're gonna be seeing brand new designs, fresh designs from Warner Brothers or Legendary and the directors. I What I think is gonna happen, it's like the same thing that happened in Skull Island. In Skull Island, we got to see a lot of brand new monsters that were not from Toho, and we got to see like a wood type monster. We got to see an octopus. We got to see like a bull that was freaking big. We got to see different types of monsters or animals that were mutated, and they weren't obviously from Toho, So this could open a lot of opportunities for Toho, for Warner Brothers, Legendary, NECA, S.H.MonsterArts, other companies for figures, merchandise, because with brand new designs, a lot of people are going to want to buy them, especially because it gives them the freedom, especially with Legendary and Warner Brothers. It gives them the freedom to design any monsters, and I have to look at the old traditional monsters and say, okay, well, Gigan looks like that, in the traditional look, so we have to go with a more classic, traditional, modern look. How are we gonna give the fans what they want, but yet again not disappoint them and give them a fresh look? It has to look realistic. It has to look up to date, but with the brand new take with it. With the brand new look that looks to the old one and brand new one. So it's complicated getting Toho monsters, because a lot of fans love the Toho monsters. If you don't do a monster the right way, a lot of fans are gonna hate this film. A lot of fans are gonna be disappointing. There's gonna be a lot of hate towards this movie. A perfect example of what could happen, or what did happen, is with Godzilla 1989 or 1988. Just look at what happened with Zilla. The guy had the freedom to do Godzilla however he wanted. He took the liberty to do Godzilla in his own way, giving him a brand new design, giving him a brand new take, and he thought it was okay. He thought fans were gonna like it, and next thing you know, a lot of fans were disappointing. A lot of fans were not calling that Godzilla. They were calling it Zilla. They were calling it another monster. So just think about that. I don't think Warner Brothers or Legendary is gonna want to repeat the same thing that happened way back then, and they have to be careful with those designs, because they're loved. Like I told you, a lot of people have a special place in their heart and their mind. They grew up watching those monsters, so it wouldn't be easy versus actually them having full control of designing any monsters. They can do a badass monster, and a perfect example of what they can do is just look at the skull crawlers. The skull crawlers were a brand new design. They were a design from Legendary and Warner Brothers, and a lot of people did like them. So I have trust, I have faith that they're gonna give us brand new, fresh designs that are gonna look badass. And what do I think that's gonna happen in the movie, or what do I see them doing in the movie? I see those monsters being in the movie for a few seconds, maybe a few minutes. Maybe getting killed off by Godzilla, so Godzilla proves who's the true boss, who's the true king. Or probably I see the monsters coming in, since it is like the end of the world, it looks like an apocalypse. I see all the monsters just coming out from their hiding spots, revealing themselves to the world that There's more than four monsters. There's more than four gods. And obviously Godzilla 2014 is gonna be the true alpha king, the true alpha god. And they're gonna like in a way I think they're gonna like respect Godzilla, if you know what I mean. Like I just think that all the monsters are gonna witness this fight between two alphas, Godzilla 2014, King Ghidorah, and then they're gonna witness this epic battle, and they're gonna realize who's the true alpha, and they're not gonna mess with Godzilla 2014 because obviously he's a guy, he's honestly very powerful. Even though a lot of people doubted him back in 2014, I honestly don't see that. I always thought Godzilla 2014 was very powerful, and a lot of people would say that Shin Godzilla is more powerful, and I honestly don't think so. And I believe that we're gonna see the true power of Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla King of the Monsters. Just trust me, guys. I always told you that he was more powerful, that he wasn't showing his full potential. And it makes sense because the Mutos did use an EMP on him, so it makes sense that his breath wasn't that powerful. And if that wasn't the case, it makes sense that the director or the people doing Godzilla wanted him to be more powerful, because not any monster, not any god faces up against Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, you don't get that all the time. So they're very powerful monsters, so it makes sense that they would make all those monsters powerful. And I told you guys before, since a long time ago, like 6 months ago, I told you it would make sense for them to increase Godzilla 2014 size or his power, or give him brand new abilities or something that makes him unique and stand out from all the monsters. Because if you look at King Ghidorah, he's already super big. He has the ability to create tornadoes, hurricanes, thunder. All the monsters like Mothra, Rodan, they have powers that make Godzilla 2014 look weak versus them. So I really don't think that we have seen everything from Godzilla 2014. I think that he has more abilities, more powers hidden, and I'm pretty sure that the way he fights, we're gonna see why he's a true king. Godzilla isn't just the king because of being the king. He has to prove who's the king to all the monsters. And another theory that I do have is that there's a scene where we get a flashback to what happened in 2014. So I think we're gonna see the Mutos return, and they might be old scenes of like how Godzilla 2014 killed the Mutos, and we might get like brand new scenes. Or what I think is that we're gonna get like the view from other people. Maybe we're gonna get like the view from people inside buildings watching Godzilla 2014 fight the Mutos, or maybe people trapped under a bunker, or maybe people running away. Maybe we're gonna get the view from the military, who knows. But I think we're gonna get a flashback of the Mutos, and this is obviously good, guys, because if we get the Mutos back in this movie for a few seconds or a few minutes, that means NECA is gonna do those monsters. Maybe S.H.MonsterArts, and I know S.H.MonsterArts isn't a fan of the Mutos because they already came out and said that in Japan, the Mutos were not famous. People were not happy with the Mutos designs. And I told you guys, what works in Japan might not work in the US. What works in the US might not work in Japan. It's two different cultures. People think different. People like monsters in a different way from what we look at them or what we like. So it makes sense. But I honestly hope NECA does like the Mutos. And NECA, NECA is known for them doing every single monster in every movie. Just look at what they did with Pacific Rim. They did the designs of monsters that we didn't even get to see in the, like in the movie. Like, yeah, sure, we got to see brand new monsters in the movie for a few minutes, maybe a few seconds, and they still did those monsters. So we know NECA, knowing them, they're gonna do the Mutos. They're gonna do every monster. They're gonna do more than 4 monsters. So it's obvious, guys. They have all the rights now, and especially with S.H.MonsterArts. I hope S.H.MonsterArts and NECA and other companies do multiple monsters, because you guys know that I'm a fucking big fan for Mutos. I love the Mutos, man. I've been waiting for Mutos figures like for years and years and years. How I sculpted my own Mutos. How I used to have the X Plus Mutos, and it was super rare. I had the band, I customized mine, and I'm a big fan of Mutos, and I always wanted to see Mutos return. But like what I do see is probably, this is just a theory. They could use like the bones, or they could analyze like the bodies of the Mutos and get powers from there. Who knows, with all that radiation and all the powers that the Mutos had, probably Monarch were doing research in Mutos and they were learning from monsters. I don't know, that's just a theory. But what I do see in the final battle happening is, it's obviously gonna come down to Godzilla and King Ghidorah. And I already said it, guys. I think in this movie we're gonna see humans teaming up with Godzilla 2014 and Mothra versus Rodan and King Ghidorah. And yes, guys, you guys were right. And you know how I came out with the video saying that there was something strange um in the poster where there's Godzilla 2014 and King Ghidorah, how there was like an orb around his stomach. Yeah, that is an airplane, and that is actually a bomber airplane. I'm not sure why this bomber seems to be guiding Rodan to King Ghidorah. Like, if you look back in the trailer, there's always a bomber guiding Rodan, and we see it at the storm. We see Rodan following this bomber, and funny enough, this bomber is located at King Ghidorah's chest. It's like this bomber. I don't know if it's guiding Rodan for them to fight, but for sure I don't see someone piloting this bomber, because if you guys did not know, there's actually bombers that are drones. A lot of people can pilot them from bases, and they have this control where they can just pilot them, shoot nukes, shoot missiles, spy on people. So I don't think there's gonna be someone that bomber, because it wouldn't make sense for a human to be so close to King Ghidorah and Rodan and maybe get the chance to be killed or take the risk of dying or whatever. But obviously this bomber is guiding Rodan to King Ghidorah. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what's going on. Who knows? It could be something else, but it looks like a bomber, or it could be something very advanced that maybe has the potential to block powers or shock monsters, maybe control them. Maybe this bomber has a device that controls them. Who knows, guys? Anything can happen in this movie. So like I told you, I really do see Mothra dying now. I told you guys, if someone was gonna die, I would see Mothra dying. And it's obvious that King Ghidorah is gonna die, because there's already a movie schedule. It's Godzilla 2014 versus King Kong. So obviously two alphas are in this movie, and there just can't be two alphas in this group, or in it's just think about it like a pack wolf. There can't be two alpha males. And if there is two alpha males, one of them has to prove who's the true boss. Who's the more powerful alpha to guide the other group. So obviously in this movie it's King Ghidorah versus Godzilla 2014. Both of them have to prove who's the more stronger monster, who's the more powerful monster, who's better, who's the true god, who's the god that's gonna be ruling this earth. The one that other monsters are gonna fear. And I do see, Mothra dying, King Ghidorah dying. But if King Ghidorah doesn't die, I really do see King Ghidorah getting beat up so bad where King Ghidorah cannot move. Most likely King Ghidorah is gonna be on the floor. Godzilla 2014 is gonna be stepping on his head. Maybe we're gonna see him do his atomic breath, blowing up one of the heads. Maybe we're gonna see Godzilla 2014 bite on one of the heads, ripping the wings apart. Something where King Ghidorah is not gonna be able to fight, and just King Ghidorah gives up. And this proves that Godzilla 2014 is the true alpha god, the true boss. And that makes him win. And most likely I see other monsters, like I was telling you guys at the beginning, I see other monsters coming out from their hiding spots and revealing to the world that there's more than 4 monsters, and that all this time all those monsters were hiding, maybe in caves, underwater, inside volcanoes, underneath the ground. Who knows? Maybe in a mysterious island and flying around. And probably when they witness this epic battle between King Ghidorah and Godzilla 2014. All the monsters come out to witness this epic battle between two gods. And they bow maybe, or they give their respects to the winner, whether it's Godzilla or King Ghidorah. I think not any monster can fight against those monsters that we're already getting in this movie. Those four monsters are very powerful. Not any monster can mess with King Ghidorah. This is like the um main enemy of Godzilla 2014 since the classics. It's his archie enemy, or his enemy from blood. They both hate each other. I don't think they have ever worked together, and it makes sense for one of them to die, or for one of them to give up. Give up and pay respects to the ruler. The one that has just beaten you up. And it does make sense if you guys compare them to wolves, or compare them to two males fighting for dominance. It makes sense, guys. And obviously with my other video, a lot of people were hoping to see a lot of NECA figures, and I know I saw this comment that said fuck NECA. I told you guys, I'm not hating on S.H.MonsterArts. I obviously love S.H.MonsterArts. I collect S.H.MonsterArts figures. Most of my figures are S.H.MonsterArts, and it's nothing against them. I think they're a good company. I think they're on top of the game. But if they don't continue to offer what fans want, if they don't continue to give us good quality figures, if they don't continue to listen and do a good job, then sooner or later NECA's gonna take over that company. It's gonna be on top of the game, because if you don't take care of your business and you're like, oh, whatever, fuck it, man, we're just gonna give products and whatever, and obviously that's not okay for big companies like S.H.MonsterArts or NECA to be putting out bad quality figures. I think if you're going to be offering figures like that, make sure there's a good quality, that the figures are correct, that they have good paint job, parts not falling apart. Maybe have a big group of people do a run test where you have them check your figures before you ship them out. Maybe do a test where you check the figures that have good paint job, good quality, and the figures that don't have all of the requirements. Maybe those figures don't get shipped out. Maybe you improve upon them, but the figures that are 100% accurate to what you were promised to give us, then obviously those figures are going to get shipped out.